Hello everyone, welcome to PyPower Project 13. In this project, we are going to detect mask using machine learning. So in this, there are total 3 steps involved. First step is collecting dataset for mask and non-mask. As you know that for deep learning or machine learning tasks, the core part is the dataset. Everything depends upon the dataset. In first step, we are going to collect the dataset, that is the images for mask and non-mask. In second step, we are going to apply deep learning for training our prediction model. And finally, we are going to predict whether a person face has wore mask or not. So let's see step 1, preparing dataset. For dataset, we have 2 types of category, or we can say that there are 2 types of classes. First is no mask and second is mask on. In no mask, we are going to give those images on which person has not wear the mask on his face, and in second category mask on, we are going to give those images in which people have wear mask on their face. So this is a step 1. These are the images which we have collected for no mask. These are not only images, around 300 images are there in this category. And second is mask on. You can see that there are images in which people have wear mask and all that. There are multiple, that is side face, front face, many people, single people, close up of the face, and multiple variations we have to cover in order to give better accuracy. So in this also nearly 290 something images are there for this category. Now coming towards step 2, training our model. In this, again there are 3 steps. First is import the required libraries. We are going to import the Keras and TensorFlow, which will be used for training our model. Second, use the images and label for training the model. We will see in a while that how we can use the images to train our model. And third is training our model based on the given parameters. Step 3 and the final step, mask detection using AI. You have seen in the previous section of the video that how our model is able to detect whether a person face has mask or not. So in the source code there are total 3 files. First is train.py. This file will be used for training our model. Second file is GUI-mask.py. This source code will be used for predicting the image files, and also we have taken care for prediction of video. So third is predict video source code. In this we will be using the video feed for predicting the mask or not. Now talking more about how to train our model based on the input images. So how to use this file for training? Open the command prompt, and in that you have to copy this line and paste it into the command prompt. So in this we have given the command line argument for dataset, for plot the graph, and third is for model. This is the necessary packages which we required for training our model: TensorFlow, Keras, scikit-learn, imutils, matplotlib, numpy, OpenCV, and all this. Now this is the command line argument parser. In this, as we have seen, 3 arguments are there. First is the dataset, second is the plot, and third is the model. The required is only dataset, other 2 are set as default. So if you don't provide these 2, that is plot and model, it will take the default value. Now these are the hyperparameters which will be used for training our model. First is the initial learning rate. It is 1 e power minus 3, which is equal to 0.001. Second is the number of epochs. What are epochs? So epochs means how many times our model will see those images for training. Here we have set 20 because for 20 epochs we get nearly accuracy of 96%. So if you want more accuracy, you can increase the number of epochs. Third is the batch size. What is batch size? So it is not that our model will see each and every image individually and then store the embeddings and like that. It will group 8 images into one image, and it will train the model based upon that group of the image. So this is the batch size. Here we have set 8 as our batch size. You can set 16 or 20 or 4 or based on requirement. Now we are loading the images. So we are using the dataset argument which we have passed in the command line, and after that we are storing all those images data into the image path variable, the list. After all the images are stored in the list, now we will loop over each and every image and perform the specific operations. We will read all those images. After that we will convert that into BGR to RGB, because the model which we are going to use is able to recognize the RGB channel, not the BGR channel. By default, OpenCV reads the image in BGR channel, so it will convert it into the RGB by this line, and finally it will resize to 224 cross 224. So why we have to resize our image? The answer is we are going to use the ImageNet architecture for training our data. And for ImageNet architecture, it is necessary that the input image must be of the size 224 cross 224. So that's why we are resizing each and every image. After resizing, all the images are appended into this data variable, data list. And after that we are converting those into the NumPy arrays, and we are serializing it between 0 to 1. Dividing by 255 means we are serializing all those data in between 0 to 1. So now we have to only predict between 0 to 1, not the big values. Here we are performing one hot encoding of the label. Now we are preparing our data that is to be trained. For training, we require two separate classes of data. First is the training data and second is the testing data. Suppose we have 100 images, so out of them approximately 80% of the images are required for training, and remaining 20% are given for testing our data for validation accuracy. So by this function train test split, we will split our data into 80-20 ratio, and it will be stored in the train X, train Y and test X, test Y. Now we are performing the data augmentation, the image augmentation. So why this data augmentation is required? Data augmentation will perform specific operations on the existing data, and it will increase the features from the same image. It will extract more number of features from the same image by resizing, by cropping, zooming, scaling, rotating, etc. operations are performed, and by that we will be able to extract more number of features from the same image. Now we are loading the VGG16 network, and here you can see that the weights are of ImageNet, that is we are using the ImageNet architecture, and here the input shape is 224 224. In previous we have resized our image in this dimension, so this is the reason why we have resized our image, because the input tensor which ImageNet architecture uses is of the size 224 cross 224. Now we are performing the transfer learning. We are only training our topmost layer for predicting this output, and after transfer learning our model is prepared based on the original ImageNet architecture. Now let's compile our model. Here we have used the ADAM optimizer for compiling our model. The initial learning rate is 0.001, which we have initialized at the starting, and the decay is initial learning rates divided by number of epochs. Loss is categorical cross entropy, and optimizer is this which we have declared here. And after that our model is compiled. You can print the model summary after compilation is done for further purpose. Now by this method, model.fitGenerator, I repeat, model.fitGenerator, this is the method which will actually train the model. Above which we have seen is required for reaching this method, and after that we have all the required data for inputting in this method. First augmented data is given, second steps per epoch, validation data, validation steps, and number of epochs. These 5 arguments are given in this method, and finally when this command will execute, it will train our model based on the number of epochs which we have given. This snippet of code is for plotting the graph, for measuring the accuracy, validation loss and all that. So this is matplotlib calculation. What is this h? You can see here, this h is our model, and when the model is trained, it will store some of the attributes. So what are those attributes? Those attributes are loss, validation accuracy, and all those attributes are stored when the model is trained. And by matplotlib we can plot all those data into a graph to give a pictorial representation how our training process has gone. And finally, we will serialize our model to disk by model.save method. Now, for detecting the mask on a person's face, we have made a wonderful GUI which will predict by just only 2 clicks. So how this GUI is made? This is the code of this. So now these are the required libraries for GUI, for image processing and all that. These libraries are used for predicting the output, the TensorFlow and Keras. Here in this there are total 3 important functions. First is select image, second is show image, and third is predict. What this select image function will do? Select image function will open a GUI in which you will be able to select the image from your files or from the folder. What this show image function will do? Show image function will take the input as the path of the image and it will show the image in the GUI itself. And what this predict will do? This is the heart of this functionality. So in this predict function, first we are going to load our model. Load model method is used for loading our model. After the model is loaded, we are going to initialize the label for showing in the output. So these are the 2 labels. First is mask on and second is no mask. Now we are going to read the image which we have selected in the previous function. After that we are going to convert it to gray, resize it to 224 x 224 because the image architecture accepts the input tensor as this resolution. Now we are going to serialize it by dividing to 255 and finally we are going to classify the image. Model.predict function will classify the image and it will give the array in which there is the probability. Now we required which class has maximum probability, whether the no mask class has more probability or mask on class has more probability. This will be done by preds.argmax function. This will return the index and it will be used for getting the label whether it is no mask or mask. If the label is no mask, then we will draw a rectangle of red color, and if it is mask on, then we will draw a rectangle of green color. Now we are going to save our image and finally show image function is called to show the output detected image. This all is of the GUI. We have used the tkinter for GUI. If you are interested in GUI, then you can run through the code. The link of the code is available in the description box. Now going to the third source code, predictvideo.py. The functionality and the logic of video is same as image, only a small difference is that in image we are considering only one frame and in video there are multiple frames. So processing video is not a new thing. So the task is very simple. Just we have to iterate over each and every frame in the video and predict our output based on our model. So first is we have loaded the classifier, the same model is loaded. After that the class labels are initialized. cv2.videoCapture will capture the video from the video file, and after that this is the output file, that is what output file we have to store our process video. This 4cc and video writer will initialize the object for writing our video into a file. Now coming towards this loop, until and unless all the frames of the video will not be processed, this loop will run. Now cap.read, this will return the single frame of the video. This will grab the single frame of the video. Now we will convert it to 224, then we will serialize it to between 0 and 1, and after that we will be passing it to our model. our model will predict whether which class has more probability, and after that predict.argmax function will return the index of the higher probability, and based on that the label will be selected. If the label is of no mask, then it will draw a rectangle of red color and give the put the text on it, and if it is of mask on, then it will draw a green color rectangle and put the required text. And after that each and every process frame will be shown by this function cvt.im show, and after that this function will write each and every individual frame into the video file. So this is how our project will work. First, we have trained our model. Second, we have classified the image files based on our output model, and third, processing the video. Prediction part is made very simple in this GUI. Just you have to click two buttons and you will get the predicted output on this screen. First, select image. So we are selecting the image from our directory, and after the image is selected you can see the selected image here, and after the detect mask button is pressed you can see the output image here. Yes, in this there is people where they wear the mask, so it is predicted mask on. Let's select the different image. Here also it is there mask on. Here you can see that as the person is not wear the mask, it is predicting no mask here. For video you have to type the command python predictvideo.py, and it will start predicting from the video which you have given as the input. Here you can see that it is start processing the video frames step by step. You can see that our model is predicting on each and every frame in the video. As in this image the person has wear mask, it is predicting that mask is on in this image. Now let's try for a video in which the person is not wear the mask. I have changed the video in the file, and now let's see whether our model is predicting correct or not. Yes, exactly, our model is predicting correctly. In this guy has not wear the mask, so our model is predicting that no mask is wear on the face. Thank you. Have a good day.